Lots of hail still lines the roadway, and we talked to TxDOT about this mess and the mess it caused on the road yesterday. Coming up.
What caused this massive fire last night near Canyon? The answer coming up.
Another night of stormy weather will be seen to the east of Amarillo. I'll tell you all about it coming up.
The KAMR NBC 4 News at 6 starts now.
Hail rocks the high plains, turning yesterday's headline into today's trending topic. Thanks for joining us.
Well, a still photo taken from some of our video is making the rounds on Facebook and Twitter. Now, national news organizations are calling, asking for permission to show it on their websites and programs. Take a look at the picture in question. It's been shared on Facebook more than 700 times. Now it's stirring up a bit of a controversy, I guess you could say. A few people who've been commenting say that they think that this photo has been doctored. Shoulder-high hail boulders, apparently they're not buying it. So the question is it real or fake? Here is the unedited video. It was shot yesterday around 4 or 5 between Amarillo and Dumas. We can promise you this video has not been doctored. If you were out in that area, you know it. Our photojournalist Devin Singleton can testify that Mother Nature threw a little bit of a curveball to our area yesterday. So if you would like to weigh in on that debate, feel free to head over to our Facebook page. So speaking of all that hail, TxDOT crew spent most of the day cleaning up. Highway 287 southbound reopened today after being closed all night due to those storms. KAMR NBC4's Jordan Lucero talked with crews about the efforts in what they're calling an unbelievable storm. She has more from the part of the highway that got hit the hardest.
I have to watch my footing here. I'm standing on about 4 feet pile high of hail, remnants of yesterday's storm. Now you could imagine all of this having to be swept off the roadways yesterday. TxDOT tells us in some areas on the roadways, this stuff piled as high as 4 feet, in the ditches as high as 6 feet. Now this is all that's left. The roadways have been completely cleared and is safe for travel. TxDOT tells us they were out here overnight trying to clear this hail.
Didn't have loaders at first because we didn't think it was going to be that bad. So the loaders came a little bit later, and the southbound lanes had the 2, 3, even 4 feet of hail on the road. It took an hour to bust through it. The road was kept closed because we couldn't get the water off the road because all the hail in the ditches wouldn't let the water drain off the road.
Now officials even tell us that they were shocked to come out here and see all this mess. They say they'd seen this kind of hail accumulation in pictures, but never in real life. Still hard to believe that it could measure this high. Reporting off of Highway 287, Jordan Lucero, KAMR NBC 4 News. Back to you.
Jordan, hopefully we have settled this debate. More images are coming to us from TxDOT. These are doozies as well. Pictures from Randy took during the cleanup yesterday. Look at the trucks trying to get the roads clear. And the drivers, unfortunately, that did not make it out, a few of them got stuck. But you just see, I mean, this was a major project they were working on. Jackie, take it away.
Snow plows clearing off those roads for hail. Well, more severe weather is trying to fire right now in our eastern counties. Chief Meteorologist John Harris is upstairs on our Sky Studio with the very latest. Hey, John.
Hi there, Jackie. You know, if people would have listened to me on Tuesday night, I was predicting 4 feet of hail north of Amarillo. Of course I wasn't. That was something else crazy, but that shows you what the power of Mother Nature can do with a supercell thunderstorm. Also, that thunderstorm and others dropped a lot of rain. Here on the TV station, up on Sky Studio, how about 43/100ths of an inch of moisture? Hey, we'll take every drop of it. Now, let's take a look at our Pinpoint 3D Titan radar brought to you by Kelly Roofing. See if there's any thunderstorms out there right now. And the answer is nothing going on. I think the atmosphere is pretty well spent from what we had going on. It's going to take a while to get these storms started, and it looks like the majority of the activity may stay in western Oklahoma. But we do have our storm chase teams out there. We'll keep you up to date throughout the evening hours. What about the weather as we travel into the weekend? We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Listen downstairs to Jackie.
Predicted that, did you, John?
Oh, you betcha.
Thanks, John. All of yesterday's rain did have a good benefit for Lake Meredith. The lake rose almost 3 inches. That's almost 1/4 foot overnight. As of Monday, Meredith was sitting at an all-time low of 29.8 feet. Because of all the runoff from the Canadian River yesterday, the levels now sit at 30.1 feet, and the water is actually still rising. But the weather wasn't such great news for Powder Canyon. Storm weather caused a lot of trouble there last night. The runoff was up to 12 feet deep in some places. Every water gate flooded. Officials say some campers were even stranded, but luckily everyone is okay. Bathrooms also flooded. The water flipped over dumpsters and knocked over water markers as well. More than 1,000 bales of hay caught fire when lightning struck in rural Randall County last night. Check this footage out. Crews are letting the blaze burn itself out now. Damage is already estimated at more than $100,000. Firefighters took precautions to make sure it didn't spread to nearby buildings when the winds picked up later on today.
The Jetblue pilot in trouble for his onboard meltdown is officially indicted. Clayton Osborne is charged with interfering with the flight crew. You'll remember he was flying a plane from New York to Las Vegas when he reportedly began acting erratically and was locked out of the cockpit by his co-pilot. Flight attendants and passengers on the plane had to subdue Osborne, and the plane was forced to make an unplanned landing in Amarillo. This is them taking Osborne off. He had waived his right to a detention hearing and will undergo a psychiatric evaluation to determine whether or not he's fit to stand trial. John Harris will be standing in the weather office very soon with your full forecast.
Plus, some Fritch's police chief gets ousted, and now some citizens are rallying around the former officer. We'll tell you why coming up next on the News at 6.
But first, here's Corporal Sean Slover with today's Crime Stoppers report.
Amarillo Crime Stoppers need your help locating this week's fugitive, Patricia Ann Saul, who is wanted out of Randall and Potter County for fraudulent use or possession of identifying information and Class A theft. If you have any information on Patricia Saul, contact Amarillo Crime Stoppers at 374-4400 or submit a tip online at amapolice.org. Remember, if your anonymous tip leads to her arrest, you can get up to $300.